Hey, I want to apologize before we get started about last week and not having a video. I have a good reason though. I found out that you should never eat spicy ramen you get from a gas station. Anywho, let's get started. So, about our review on Vampire the Masquerade.
We forgot a lot about it, from the dice system to the hunger system to actual scoring, right? And then more.
Yeah, I think the book was just pissing me off so much I didn't want to hunt the stuff. I was actually reminded of my mistakes at a comic store when I was considering buying Werewolf the Apocalypse book. Because there's really only 3 things I need to talk about, I'm gonna stuff this video with some lore stuff. So, what's the story behind the World of Darkness? Everything is fucked, there's a machine god who might not be a god, but is definitely a god. All the monstrous creatures of the world are hiding from humanity, despite the fact most could easily destroy humanity if they wanted. Most of these creatures will work together for some reason, despite also hating each other. The only ones that don't seem to have an immense hatred for one another are the vampires and the werewolves. I know, a bit different than what you're used to. They still don't love each other, but they won't kill each other on sight. Of course, mages, hunters, and humans that know all hate each other and other creatures. Mummies don't give a shit, and I'm certain there's other games too. You know what? Let's look this up. Vampire the Masquerade alone has more than a dozen different types of games. Hunter the Reckoning, Mage the Ascension, Werewolf the Apocalypse, and a few other under the Werewolf banner. Wraith the Oblivion, Demon the Fallen, Changeling the Dream, Mummy the Resurrection, Geist the Sin Eater, Promethean the Created, and a lot of other subgames too. Seriously, a lot of these have 6 different subgames, and some have spin-offs like Orpheus. No, just Orpheus. This series by White Wolf is absolutely insane, but I'm looking at the Renegade version of it, which brings up a bit of a problem. Renegade isn't great at anything they seem to do. I'm worried about the upcoming HeroScape game they bought from Hasbro. But the company is primarily focused on licenses, which leads to a lot of things they've done no longer being available. I'm pretty sure the current edition of World of Darkness, not to be confused with Chronicles of Darkness, same setting, different story there, are all licensed games, so don't expect them to be around forever. If you want to know about the setting, I'd recommend looking up the Maple Table to learn more about the setting. Nate hasn't posted a video in almost a year now, but guy's Canadian, has 2 kids, so life can be hectic. Cool guy though. I've enjoyed my conversations with him, really. So, what system does this game use? This game uses a combination of a D10 system and a dice pool system. You'll roll all the dice you're allowed to from skills or tests involvement, and count the number of dice that land above the number 6. 6s are successes, with 10s being critical successes, counting for 2. So, I mentioned a hunger system too. Well, if you buy the specific set of dice for Vampire, you will notice 2 sets of the dice with 2 different numbers. Same with Werewolf. They don't have numbers on them, instead just marking successes and fails. You'll also notice that the successes have smaller marks on them indicating 1 and 2. Now, hunger. I should clarify, it's not just hunger, it's compulsions. But I'm going to keep calling them hunger dice. Why? Because Werewolf, where I realized this was a thing, calls them rage dice. Compulsions are your character's physical needs and desires, not just as a vampire, but as a person too. Hunger is obvious, given I've been saying it for a bit here. Dominance, as well as the nature of a vampire, is to be powerful. Harm is another, and this is a weird name. It's not being hurt, but the desire to hurt. Hunger can often drive one to hurt another. Paranoia is the last one. When hungry or desiring, it'll often lead to one assuming everyone is coming after them, especially for vampires. Clans also have their own compulsions too. Brujahs have rebellion, always wanting to fight powers. Gangrel have feral impulses, wanting to go apeshit. Malkavians are delusional, often seeing things that aren't there. Nosferatu are cryptophilic, which makes these ugly boys want to learn secrets from people, usually by drinking their blood. Toreadors are obsessed with what? Up to you! Tremere are perfectionists and are essentially the Emperor's children. And Ventru are arrogant little bastards feeling themselves better than everyone. Now, how does the compulsion system work? It's odd. Hunger dice are used in these situations, but I'm realizing it doesn't exactly explain it. Hunger levels range from 0 to 5, 0 being completely fine and dandy, while 5 being ravenous. When a hunger level go up, I'm having trouble finding that. Every time you gain a level of hunger, you get another die into your hunger dice pool. If you use the official dice, you'll notice the same marks as the normal test dice, but the 1 is now replaced with a skull, which is bestial failure. When you get a 1, it causes problems. The more you hit, the more it gets going wrong. Now, when you do tests that aren't checks, willpower, or humanity, you will replace your dice with the number of hunger. So if you're expecting to roll 5 dice and have 3 hunger, you'll roll 3 hunger in your dice pool of 5, with 2 being normal. You'll read them as normal, but each 1, or bestial failure, will force you to enact a compulsion you have at the moment. So, how do you satiate hunger? Well, there's lots of ways. There's a whole table, actually. Small animals, about 4 cats worth, or a few dozen rats, you'll regain 1 hunger, and it'll take a single scene. But it doesn't work if you have a blood potency of 2 or more. But is affected by animal resonance, and there's no dysgracia, which I don't know what that means. Medium-sized animals take a single churn and fix 1 hunger as well. Large animals like a horse take a whole scene too and fix 2 hunger. If you find a blood bag, it'll take 1 turn to eat it and it'll solve 1 hunger. Has no resonance or the other word. Sipping from a human takes 3 turns and fixes up 1 hunger. Also includes licking a wound closed on a human. Because spit is not only a mind controller, but also a salve, I guess? If you drink from a human without killing them, you solve 2 hunger and it takes the whole scene. Also including the licking, so women on their period, I guess? If you drink too much and risk killing them without actually killing them, but they can bleed out, it'll be a dice roll as to how much it fixes you by, 1 to 4. Taking 1 churn per hunger sliked. The damage you deal is equal to the hunger you fix. The human in return rolls strength plus stamina against your hunger fix in order to survive. If you killed them, it solves 5 hunger and takes 5 churn. And only by that way are you able to reach a hunger level of 0. So murder is promoted. Now, there's still more to the game. Weapons are a thing, and you are expected to avoid biting people, but you can as a weapon. Gear and equipment is, again, also a thing, but we're not going to get into that because of my complaints about the book itself. I give this game an 80% really, because the book, it's just so horrible. The game itself might be great, but I know I've missed so much for this game. But I've gotta prepare for a 40k competition, so shove off.